We start and we all.
Hi guys. This
Hi.
is our first meeting for climate change, how it's affecting us on all levels.
All right.
So let's go. I think we will give to Oscar to give 3 sentences about the idea of this channel, and then we will take over.
Okay.
Sounds good. So, welcome everybody, and I see that you have a beautiful background of nature, all of you. I'm right now at my house. I don't have that much of a view, but well, let's talk about the channel. The idea is to create a platform in which we can meet people from all around the world that have the same concern, and not just for us to talk, but also to create consciousness about the big issue that climate change is for our lives and can be for the future in many, many ways. So that's what we're gonna, that's what we're meeting for today, and what we want to talk about.
And to create tools to people, actually, because we really know it's affect us on the emotional, physical, and mental level. Scientific improve, took so many years for the science to get it, but now it's here. So just to create a conscious with tools to share with each other, to make the differences in our daily life, and take a control on our personal freedom. Because this is the freedom, our food, our land, our homes.
Right.
Awesome. So I really want you, Deirdre, because you work long time, I work by your side, and I saw your connection to the land and how much you process like a mom, like a community leader, and how much you release ill through the earth. So I want you to share those experiences with the people to understand, because you are a mom, you are a grandma, and you're still a big healer and a teacher. So just share this connection, how much it's helped you on all those levels, emotional, mental, physical. Share it with us.
Well, I met Regina back in the day at Harbor Hot Springs, and we were in community together. And the one thing that I loved about Regina is she would bring ritual into daily life. You could break out into a garden ritual where we were planting crystals in the earth and planting trees and just really being connected through being together and talking and singing songs and planting things. And it just really, really gave me a different view of a lifestyle where you don't have to drive a car and go to an office, sit in a box and stare at a computer screen. It just really became a life where my children could work with us, and we had a lot of joy and just a lot of beauty. So I think one of the biggest things that I really felt from that connection of community was that we were working closer to the earth. We could get our food right from the garden, and that, Regina really taught me that the village takes care of the children. We could bring our children to work with us, which was amazing, to not be separated from your child while you're working, to not feel that guilt, to not harbor that disconnection. So it was very integrated, and it was very spiritual and healing in a lot of ways. It really gave to it being sacred, your life, every part of it, a small flower, eating a meal with the food that you've grown, with the people that you know, and that they know you, and how important those connections were. So the connections were very important. So one of the things I was hoping we were going to talk about today was how Neil and I planted a forest because Harbin Hot Springs burned down, and it just came together that we were going to plant this forest together, and there's an empowerment to that, and how empowerment is so important to, pulling off something that, when you go to work and you're working a daily job, you don't have enough power to feel like you can make any changes. But when you listen to your intuition, which is what Regina and I have worked on for many, many years, when you listen to your intuition, it empowers you, and you can pull off miracles, huge miracles. And there's ritual, which is interacting with the land, can give you a certain kind of energy that just is like lightning bolts, where you download this information of where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do. And it's so important, us as the older bees in the beehive, to guide younger people to help them to empower themselves, right? Okay.
Oh, you brought me goosebumps.
Yeah. So that's what we're really hoping we can talk about today.
No, that's what I want to talk. That's what we want to talk. Neil, give to the people more of those feelings she brought up. And if I felt goosebumps, what I know her place. So imagine people, they just listening to this. So let's go.
Yeah, so the first thing when you get to a land, you choose the place through your intuition, is you try to learn to have intuition skills. People get intuition in many different ways, but Regina is a great teacher for those skills. Those are so important. You have to learn to listen to the land, and eventually, if you pray enough, the land is going to tell you where you need to live and what part of the land you need to be connected to. It's so important. Intuition is very important. Then once you get to the place where you're at that land that you're connected to, you pray and work with the land through ritual, which Regina has taught us, to download the information of what the land needs. It's very empowering. There's a power that goes with it that links the community members to the earth, and it's very sacred. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yes.
Yes.
So we have a
So
very strong connection, Neil, with the land. Very, very.
I've been very fortunate to always been raised in the country, and it's been most of my time out in the woods. And it's really important to get quiet. One of my favorite things to do is to get up on a rock where I could see around me and start just to listen and identify noises. And, oh, there's a bird, there's an animal, there's something going on here. And you just start to watch. All of a sudden I heard a bird go off, and then a minute later, here comes an animal moving through that scared the bird. And that alerted me. And then I see another animal over here going, oh, wait, something's going on over there. And you get the connection that's going on around you. And then you go deeper into that and you figure out there's the spirit that moves through all things. And it's moving through you. You become a part of the forest. and everything that's going on. And then you get into an amazing experience of experiencing a devastating fire. And holy smokes, you go into this environment that is now looks dead. There's no animals anymore. Everything's burned up. You're seeing every little rock. You now see a road, an old road that you never knew was there because it was hidden in the bushes. You see fences. And the first thing I noticed, which was astounding, was here's everything's just burnt, but water is pushing out of the ground in places I never even knew. And I was like, what's going on? I asked my forester, hey, I'm noticing water in the middle of this devastation. He's like, you know, that's one of the strangest things we've all noticed this. And because everything's burnt up, the trees that were drinking it, everything that was drinking it aren't drinking it right now. So it's just bubbling out. And some people thought, oh, well, we don't want trees then because they're taking all the water. Well, that's not true. But it's, you just start noticing the things that happen. And then you pay attention to how things grow. And nature never rests. It's always growing. It's always living. It's always changing. Even after the fire, immediately things are starting to push back. So that's, and pay attention. You just keep paying attention and asking, gee, how can I fit in here? How can I help? What can I do?
Right. And so it's very important to listen to the land,
Yep.
as Neil's talking about. It's very important. But you also
I
have
just want to stop for the people because you have there 3 very important lessons. First, it's to trust your intuition, and then be still, be zen, listen. So when you take this part with nature, I think this part in relationship and in group you walk in. You're not jumping, and you listen to your intuition. You observe the room, you listen to the people. So the listening, it's something very important. What we just listening to the news, we don't listening to our feelings anymore. And the second thing, what it's really remove your vibration. I just try to put your story on a little like example for the people, the vibration of the body, of the spirit. So if you sometimes depressed, tell me if you agree with me or not, or feel down, or feel it's not working exactly the way how you want, or your beloved didn't give you the attention. And you go outside to the plants, to the land, it's actually moving your vibration from this to move forward, because you start to listen, you start to see, you see you're not alone. You see the animals, it's take your mind from the victimized and thinking your life, it's the worst life in the world. I just try to bring it to the opposite, but it's really the vibration and how it affects us on the physical, mental, and emotional, because our vibration, it's what we feel. This is the energy, this is the soul. So you talk about this one too, so I put it, and the last thing, it's actually to trust. To trust your intuition, to trust your listening, to trust the land will talk to you, to trust the signals. What this is a part, it's very hard for people. We're going away from each other, we're losing the trust. But this is something we can trust. It's there, it exists, it gives us the food, it gives us the beauty, it gives us the touch. So now we keep going because it's good to put those three things and people understand on the mental level where you're going with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
the yep. Mental is very important, that word, because in a lot of ways to listen to your heart and to trust your spirit, you do have to get very quiet, as Neil said, but you do have to let go of the mind. You have to let go of the mind. Mind can be very tricky. It's very detail oriented, and it likes to do this, this, and this, but it can get in the way. It's kind of, it gets too fussy. So getting out and getting in nature and listening to your heart and asking a question. Sometimes when I get out in nature, I'll ask a question before I get out there. Hey, what do I need to do? What do I need to focus on? And usually by the end of working in the garden or taking that walk, whatever's needed, I'll have the answer. It will be there for you if you ask a question. But you have to ask, right?
Now I have
Yeah.
another question, guys. You live for a short time in the city in Auckland with the girls, and you saw how people live in the city. You have some ideas how people can use less and in them daily life?
How they can use less. Oh, that's a good question.
When we were in the city, we would walk. We tried to walk every day, and we would try and go to different parks for sure. We would try and get up into the neighborhoods that had more plants, you know, or just more out.
So you give advice to plant more plants to the neighborhoods.
Plant more plants.
Yeah.
Everybody to put more plants.
More
Right.
plants, more trees.
Yeah, join volunteer days and with your local park. There's rose gardens that need weeders in every city. There's a rose garden. There's seed clubs and there's hikes, just all sorts of things. I even went to herb walks in city blocks that just had weeds growing out of them because the building hadn't yet. You can,
Yeah.
there's
There's a
so
lot.
many ways to connect to that and to
So you
volunteer.
can prepare to the next meeting, just give more ideas so the young people in the city and the older start to use a little more and more, just to do more every day. One small thing on, just imagine million people. So we're protecting the trees, even, you know. So it's good for us to come with those ideas to start to change the conscience of the people. Because even a small plants you have at home, you can talk to him and he grow and can give you answer, but then he can change your view
Yes.
in order to see a picture or you see plants around you. So it's just some examples. I thinking now I want to ask Oscar, because Oscar just started to connect with the elements too, with working with me. So Oscar, you did this ritual for the fire and you learned to call to the direction and you really invest in this. What it gave you to feel? Like to feel, if you can go on the emotional, you can go on the physical, and if it change kind of beliefs in your mental mind.
Yeah, if it what it made me feel that particular ritual that I studied and
You can tell them a little what you did.
Yeah, it was inspired on the teachings of the Native Americans of the US.
They know this ritual.
It was to call to the 7 directions. We generally think as the directions if they were 4, right? The normal ones: north, south, east, west.
They
But
are all
we have
normal.
also above, we have also below, and we have also in the center that is here. And what it made me feel and feel right, doing that in the standing on the ground, on the earth, and with the fire in front. It was a real connection, because we talk a lot about connection, and even people sometimes do retreats or go to places in nature, but they just take pictures on their phones, and they actually don't get, even if they spend a whole week in nature, it's like they don't really get to connect. And by doing a ritual that is not even something that any of us invented, but that comes from our ancestors, it made a connection with the history, with our past, with the humankind, and also, of course, with the nature, with animals, with elements surrounding us. So I think it's something that I'm very grateful to have experienced, and that I think that these kind of things can change you in a deep level, because actually, after I came back to the city where we live at, that is Rio de Janeiro, which is a very natural city, but you start looking in a different way, even to the tree that is on your way to your work, that you walk and you pass by every day. Maybe you don't even notice it, and then you start noticing. You know, it can make change like on a deep level, I think.
Okay,
Super cool.
so Neil and Madonna, give us more ritual, give more idea. Let's go. We completed of giving kind of ideas to people. Just Earth Day coming up. And like we know, Earth Day, it's celebrated of 4 days for each direction. So it starts on the 18th, but it's still a full moon. And I know I want you to do some live rituals, and in my birthday, Earth Day birthday too. But in the same time, I want you to give ideas to people,
Okay.
what they can do. You have so many, Deirdre, even small stuff. So Deirdre, you give to the feminines, to the women's, it can be men, to the feminine side, and you give to the masculine side. Neil. Okay?
Okay. So one of the biggest things that I learned from Regina was
No, not
through the
just
dance.
for me. You have a lot of you.
Okay.
A lot more.
I
than
know.
me.
I know.
A lot
This is
more than
important.
me.
This part is
Don't
really
put all
important.
this on me.
All right. We would have these dance festivals where we would dance in a group and we were thumping on the ground. And I also learned this in the Native American tradition of dancing in a circle around a fire.
You can give us example?
Uh,
No, go around
Brent-
and just show them.
Yeah. So as you're doing dancing, the earth loves it when you dance. And there's kind of an electricity that happens. I can see this with intuitive sight. There's an electricity that happens. I don't know where it comes from, probably the center of the earth, which is connected to the sun. But you get into a wild trance, and that energy can hit you like a lightning bolt. And it is very empowering. It blows your world. If you have too much mind in you, the mind goes away. You're supremely connected to the universe. You have an abundant amount of energy. And then all of a sudden it goes away and it hits somebody else dancing in the group. So this is part of the ritual where I learned that if you're willing to participate with the earth, with this dancing and this joy, this energy will hit you and you'll have an epiphany. It will be a vision or you'll have some kind of knowing. But I also learned through that that when you're out and you're working with the nature, you're picking up trash, you're cleaning up a creek, you're planting a garden, there's a more subtle form of that golden energy that will hit you, that will transform you, that will make you look at things in a different way. Even if you're on the city streets picking up the trash and you're with people and feeling the joy of doing what just feels so good at the end of it. Just feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, Neil, give something to the guys, something from your.
So that primal dance around the fire of element is just super awesome. Close your eyes. You're not dancing for anybody. You're not actually trying to connect with anybody. You're trying to connect with that primal thing. And as my wife said, there's the energy that will come up into it. And it's amazing. Then with that energy, as a man, you really want to hold a sacred space, particularly on this earth, our mother. So the mother needs to be safe. And that is probably the most important thing. And then we guys like to go do things. Well, let's slow it down a bit, hold that space so that the divine feminine mother can do her thing. With my wife, we garden. I like to dig in the dirt and move it around to make that place for her to plant the flowers or the vegetables. And it is really sweet to, okay, I got all this energy. I'm going to move the rock out of the way. I'm going to turn up the soil and let her plant the flowers or the vegetables. So that is probably the best thing. And then I will take this big macho energy and put a fence around it to protect it from the cows or the deer or something that's trying to eat it. So, we have our strengths and appropriately putting them to use. So that's what we can do.
Okay, this is sound very, very good. I will focus more on the people when they're in the city. This is a big celebration for the earth because the world already brings us so many signs of a big change of conscious. It's a new earth and it's need to move there. So I will advise to people to even Google more about the earth and what the earth need and about plant, and go and buy a plant or go and buy a seed and start it from seed and just follow that every day growing. Make your house more green.
Yeah.
And make a list of gratitude of what you have from this mother. So this is something I will advise actually people to do almost every day. But it's a good time to start in Earth Day, and now all the conscious start to need a change. So I can feel that now it's not just the people, it's everything, all the universe. We changing and everything is there. We cannot blame anybody anymore. We cannot say we cannot do, because we have all the tools to do it in our daily life. And doesn't matter if you are in the city, and start to look on your community. Start, like Oscar say, to see, to talk with the tree you walk by every day, to see if the tree needs something. Maybe somebody left a piece of plastic and you can pick that up and put in the garbage. It's very okay for us to do it. Very, very okay. It's actually a blessing for every one of us to do it.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I think I really want to start the channel. We will start on the 18th because the 18th it's the celebration. We will start the first video. It will start this one. And then we will go with live rituals, what we do until the 23rd we finish. And then we put the other interviews. And then you and me and Neil and Oscar, we build together the next one. And you already bring more tools to the people, more ideas with tools. Special both of you, because you know when you prepare yourself you have a lot of ideas, because with all the respect, Deirdre, you learn from me, but I learn a lot from you too. So it's always take one to know one. So give a little from your basket, because your basket always full. When I get empty, I running to your basket. And so, and let's go, we get it ready. We just get it ready to go out. And what I want to start with this channel, it will be Eagle Venture, but I will put the 4 names of us. So we will start with our 4 names, and then we can add, you know, then when it's an interview with somebody, so we can, you know, but we will run this channel.
Great.
I think we are very good balance, because Oscar is young, he's in his 30s. And then we will bring another young woman. What I want to bring Mira, but I want to wait. Mira, she will lead this young, because again, she have a lot of experience, guys. You know, she can relate very fast to this. She ran there with her barefoot. She talked with all the fairies. It's amazing. So let's go. Each one of us will say a prayer for our first video to each other or something. And you say a prayer, and then Oscar will say a prayer, and then I will say a prayer.
Divine, thank you for your presence today, that you came to us so we could all be connected. And through this grace of our connection with the light that we all carry inside of us and your guiding grace, we feel your presence so we can help people through our connections and through the connections to the earth and the plants and the animals, and helping us to lift that vibration so we can create a new earth.
Spirit that moves through all things, thank you. I am so grateful to be alive, and it is an exciting world, and I just want to feel more connected to it all and to enjoy the mystery and trust that everything will work out just as it's supposed to. Thank you.
Aho. And I would like to say also thanks for this encounter of people separated in physical, but together right now through technology and through more of that. And let this idea and this encounter and this project to grow, not just because for it to grow, but to really got to the plan there is help the world and reverse the climate change damage that we have created along the time, and that it's not too late, you know, as as you say, we are alive and we have world ahead. So thanks, and let's go.
Thank you, Creator, for all my relationships. Thank you for give the chance it's given to make changes and to see the earth glowing again and alive, and for the people and the animal to connect with each other again, to live for the community, to trust the community, and to make changes for their own personal freedom. Oh, new earth.
Yeah.
Sure.
I will stop recording now, okay?